Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and we're here with a very brief update on the status of a game I was recently playing on my channel, Tech Corp, an early access game that has actually been in development for quite a little while and has a very busy Discord server run by the devs and the various community members supporting the game over the months it first came to our attention. And you may recall, if you watched the last episode in my series, which was the last one in that current series, that I mentioned that we hadn't had an update from the developers for a little while now. They were very busy and very active, very proactive around before and after the early access launch. Back in June, July, was it? Difficult for me to remember. Time does disappear so quickly these days. But the last update was at the beginning of August. And at that point they were asking for help with translations into a whole variety of languages, and that seemed to be going quite well. They're getting a lot of assistance and input from members of the community on that, but there's been very little direct word from the developers since then. Now, earlier today, which is the 26th of September 2019, we saw an announcement on the Discord server, not from the developers of the game, but from a member of the community who goes by the ID of Clay C, who announced to us bad and good news. And what he came on the Discord server to tell us was the game developers and the publishers of the game have had a dispute. There is something going on there in terms of the business arrangement between the two companies, the two teams of people, which means, as far as we can tell so far, that there will be no direct updates of the game from the original development team. So in a sense, the game is finished. However, the good news from that Clay C, who has been a very active member of the Tech Corp Discord community for quite some time, and hence I'm producing this little video on the basis of his announcement, which I trust to be accurate and honest, is that he will take on board the completion of the translation work that was started, and also quashing of some bugs and any further development he can provide to the game. Now, from what he's said so far, he's had good communication with the developers, and presumably the publishers as well have been involved in that. So it's going to be a question of what rights he has to develop and publish updates to the game. Now, obviously, he won't be able to take any ownership of the product itself. That belongs to the developers or publishers, whatever their business arrangement was. But he will be able to provide community updates to it, hopefully. Now, he does have his own full-time job, which he has no intention of leaving. He's fine with that. He's enjoying his work. So this will be a sort of hobby project because he is so invested in the game, and the game does have so much potential. It draws in concepts and ideas from a variety of games, which other people have questioned about how original or good an idea it is. But I think it was going to places which could have been quite fun and bringing together, as I said, a whole variety of different aspects, not just the sort of building of a software company, but manufacturing and creating markets, a proper sort of business tycoon kind of game. But for whatever reason, there's been a fallout between the development team and the publishers, and it looks like that is kind of the end officially of the game. Now, we've had no word from the developers themselves. I'm not quite sure why that is. It may all be part of the dispute that's ongoing between the developers and the publishers, and there's been no announcement as of the time I record this video on Steam. So we're not sure what will come from those guys. But again, as I said, Clay C, he's been a prominent member of the community on Discord for quite some time. He's been involved quite deeply with the sort of development of the game and tracking of bugs and feature requests and so on their development roadmap. So I'm going to take the guy at his word that this is where we are with the game. Now, what will happen from here is difficult to judge. He's obviously got to clarify exactly what he can produce for us under the name of Tech Corp without ownership of the copyright or anything like that, and also how he can schedule his time to produce those updates and publish them either to Steam or whatever mechanism he can do that for. So we're not quite sure when the next update announcement will be. He's hoping it will be soon, but again, we're up in the air as to quite when that will be. But I thought I'd bring you this. I really enjoyed playing the game. There's obviously a fair amount of issues with it. It did still need a fair amount of work, and we were right in the very earliest stages of early access, so we were kind of expecting that. And this is sort of a risk I think you take with early access games. Sometimes they go really great places. They might take a while getting there, but they end up being really great games and a real positive experience. But sometimes the enthusiasm and the work that came into developing the product initially isn't quite sustainable into a profitable business model, and the developers simply can't work it into a shape which will be attractive to the general public, the general computer game buying public. And unfortunately, it looks like, don't know if that was the case, but whatever the case was, we're not getting any more official updates to this game, which is a great shame. I was looking forward to going back to it and playing it. I may still do that. We'll see what comes out of Clay C's updates, how much he can add to the game and fix a number of the issues we have with it at the moment. But that's it. If there is news, I will come back to that on the channel here, and also in my social media platforms as well, Twitter and Instagram, if you're following me there. If you're still interested in the game, of course, then I have got links below, not only to the Steam page but also to the Discord server. So if you're in the Discord kind of mood, then please do hop on there and see, and then you can follow more directly what is actually going on with the game. So sad news that there's no more official updates to the game, but good news in the sense that we may still get community updates to it, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. We have seen some other games which have really thrived under community ownership, which have really extended and developed the base game provided by the original developers. But there you are. A sad news, unfortunately, but that's where we are. Sometimes this happens. So that's it from me, Ajaxpost. Thank you very much for joining me for this little update. Hope it hasn't been too disappointing to too many people. And as I said, if there's any more news, I will come back to you as soon as I can, as soon as I get hold of it. But from me, for now, until the next time, bye bye.